Hello, I'm honored to be part of the Puzheng Innovation Forum. Thank you for extending the invitation to speak with you. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge the hard work of everyone who has helped bring this important conference together, and especially the Ministry of Science and Technology and the Municipal Government of Shanghai. And a special thanks to my fellow keynote speakers today, Minister Wang and Minister Al-Amari, for joining us as well. For over a decade now, China has been a great partner with our foundation in working to advance innovation here and around the world. Thank you. I understand the theme of this year's forum is innovation for a better life. We are living in a time when both the remarkable power of science to improve lives and the urgent need for more innovation to address the world's greatest challenges are on full display. We're still in the midst of the biggest global public health crisis in a century. COVID-19 is causing immense suffering and economic hardship, especially in nations that do not have ready access to vaccines. Over the past 2 months, some countries have experienced the biggest spikes in cases and deaths since the start of the pandemic. And in the last 4 months, the COVAX facility has reached more than 120 countries with some of these COVID-19 vaccines. 83% of the first billion vaccine doses, more than 4 out of 5, went to people in wealthy countries, while barely any, 0.2%, went to those in low-income countries. If current immunization rates continue, it will take more than a decade for many nations to reach the level where herd immunity takes hold. That's not just unfair, it's a recipe for disaster. No one is safe until everyone is safe. So as long as some countries cannot vaccinate their people, the pandemic and the many hardships it causes will continue. That in turn will magnify all the social and economic disparities that low and middle income nations already deal with. And the threat of more dangerous and even more vaccine resistant variants of the disease will continue. The world must act quickly and together to address these gaps in access. I remain optimistic we can meet this challenge. I believe the world will defeat this pandemic and recover stronger, more prepared for future public health crises, and more equal. To do this, we need to ramp up funding for initiatives like COVAX that is distributing vaccines. We also need to increase the number of qualified vaccines in the portfolio and ramp up manufacturing and supply around the world. I hope to see COVID-19 vaccine supply from China increase and play a significant global role. Most of all, we need more inclusive innovation. Innovation that doesn't stop at the R&D stage or cater only to those who can afford it. Innovation that reaches people trapped on the wrong side of entrenched inequities and gives everyone a chance to lead a healthy, productive life. And WHO has now granted emergency use listing to Chinese-made COVID vaccines, which will be instrumental in closing the access gaps I discussed earlier. What China has achieved for the health and well-being of its own people and for people around the world has been inspiring. I believe China's long and robust commitment to inclusive innovation will help the world bring the COVID-19 pandemic to an end more quickly. It will also help us to remedy the damage done by the virus. Our Goalkeepers report last September found that the pandemic had set back progress on nearly every indicator of the Sustainable Development Goals. Extreme poverty increased by 7%. An estimated 130 million more people fell into chronic hunger. And vaccine coverage, a good proxy for how health systems are functioning, dropped to levels last seen in the 1990s, setting the world back about 25 years in 25 weeks. But with your leadership on inclusive innovation, I believe we can get back on track, lessen the poverty and food insecurity, and accelerate progress towards the SDGs. We believe that all our partnerships can become stronger over time, and that we can take the long view when it comes to progress. So we're committed to working with you and all of our partners over the long term to make a difference for those in need. COVID-19 has reminded the world once again that we are all connected, and it has shown us that the power of innovation is central to overcoming any challenge. By working together, continuing to support inclusive innovation, and making sure nobody is left behind, I'm confident we will not only end this pandemic, but build a better, fairer future. Thank you.